y siempre fue así, ¿no? Una cosa.
Pope Francis's sister and the rise of Luis Tagle. In a rare and emotional revelation, Maria Elena Bergoglio, the younger sister of Pope Francis, has opened a window into the private discussions between her and the late pontiff, highlighting the extraordinary role Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle could play in the future of the Catholic Church. Known as the Asian Francis, Tagle has long been considered a natural continuation of Pope Francis's vision for a more compassionate, humble, and outreach-focused church. Maria Elena's reflections come at a critical time when speculation over the next leader of the Catholic Church intensifies, and her words have caused a ripple effect among Vatican observers. Tagle's record of combining theological intellect with street-level pastoral care makes him a standout figure, especially in a world craving authenticity and reform. His emotional resonance, ability to connect across classes, and unrelenting commitment to marginalized communities embody the spirit that Pope Francis championed. Maria Elena's testimony doesn't merely position Tagle as a candidate, but paints him as a spiritual heir, echoing the deep-seated values that her brother sought to instill within the Church's highest echelons. As the global Church braces for a monumental conclave, her words serve as both a torch and a warning, reminding the world that leadership rooted in love, service, and humility is not just desired, but desperately needed. The humble roots of the Bergoglio family. The life story of Maria Elena Bergoglio provides critical insight into the foundational values that shaped Pope Francis's worldview, tracing back to a modest Argentine household where faith, resilience, and humility were not taught through sermons, but lived through daily example. The Bergoglio family, far from fame or fortune, comprised a hard-working railway father, Mario José Bergoglio, and a devout mother, Regina Maria Sivori, whose home was rich in love despite financial limitations. Growing up as the youngest of 5 siblings, Maria Elena witnessed firsthand the selfless spirit and fierce loyalty that later defined her brother Jorge Mario, long before the world would come to know him as Pope Francis. Their home was one where chores, struggles, and laughter blended seamlessly, forging bonds of steel among the siblings. Each sibling carved their own path, but Jorge Mario's protective instinct toward Maria Elena stood out, establishing him early on as a natural leader molded by service, not ambition. Maria Elena's recounting of these formative years does more than add a humanizing touch to the Pope's narrative. It underscores the enduring impact of early familial love and sacrifice, painting a portrait of a man whose public humility was at its core intensely personal and deeply authentic. Jorge Mario as a lifelong anchor for Maria Elena when tragedy struck the Bergoglio family with the death of their father, the entire household faced a seismic shift, but none more so than young Maria Elena, who's still a child, found herself adrift until her elder brother Jorge Mario stepped in, not merely as a sibling, but as a steadfast anchor, mentor, and surrogate father figure. Far from succumbing to grief, Jorge Mario infused Maria Elena's life with hope, teaching her how to dance the tango, find joy in adversity, and carry her head high even when sorrow threatened to weigh her down. Their relationship, characterized by unwavering support and genuine affection, became a source of strength that endured across decades and continents, surviving even Jorge's eventual rise to the papacy. Despite the ocean of responsibilities that came with leading the Catholic Church, Jorge continued to prioritize his sister, calling her regularly, not as Pope Francis, but simply as Jorge Mario, the brother she could always count on. Maria Elena's vivid recollections not only illustrate a profound familial bond, but also spotlight the humanity of a man who, even after ascending to one of the most revered positions in the world, remained grounded in the simplest and purest form of love, that of family. The private pain behind a global celebration when Jorge Mario Bergoglio was elected Pope Francis in 2013 the world erupted in joyous celebration, but behind closed doors, Maria Elena Bergoglio wept tears not just of pride, but of profound personal loss. In a rare moment of brutal honesty, she confessed that part of her had selfishly hoped he wouldn't be chosen, not because she doubted his ability to lead, but because she feared losing her brother to the demands of the world. This deeply personal reaction underscores a seldom discussed reality. Behind every global figure lies a network of loved ones who quietly bear the weight of public expectation and sacrifice. For Maria Elena, Pope Francis's election meant not only geographical distance, but emotional separation, an inevitable drift as Jorge's identity expanded to embrace the entire Catholic world. Yet she did not allow bitterness to consume her. Instead, she chose resilience, redirecting even the travel funds she would have used to attend his inauguration toward charity. Her choice to prioritize humility and service over personal glory mirrors the very ethos that Pope Francis would later champion from the Vatican balcony, revealing a family tradition of quiet sacrifice and unbreakable faith that has in many ways shaped the spiritual trajectory of millions. Maria Elena's commitment to privacy and authenticity. In an era where fame often lures even the most reluctant participants, Maria Elena Bergoglio made the conscious decision to step away from the limelight, choosing instead a life of humility that powerfully echoes the values her brother sought to bring to the global stage. Despite numerous opportunities to capitalize on her unique position as the Pope's sister, Maria Elena consistently refused interviews for personal gain, shunned book deals, and kept her life in Argentina low profile, preferring actions that spoke louder than words. When she did speak publicly, it was not to enhance her own standing, but to reveal the human side of Pope Francis, the brother who once swept floors, told bedtime stories, and remained stubbornly compassionate. Her refusal to exploit her proximity to power is a potent testament to authenticity. In a world saturated with curated personas, through her quiet strength and deliberate humility, Maria Elena has preserved not only her dignity, but also enhanced the credibility of the values she and her brother hold dear, serving as a reminder that true greatness is often rooted in the unseen sacrifices and silent virtues of those who stand just outside the spotlight. A survivor's strength through loss and health battles. Maria Elena Bergoglio's life has been marked by profound personal losses and health battles, yet her spirit remains unbroken, a testament to the strength and resilience that define the Bergoglio family. She has survived the deaths of her siblings, the emotional chasm left by Jorge Mario's election to the papacy, and her own serious health scare in 2015 that saw her hospitalized and confronting mortality head-on. But even in the face of adversity, Maria Elena chose laughter over lamentation, humor over hopelessness, demonstrating the same grit and grace that once fortified her through childhood tragedies. When asked about her struggles, she downplayed them, choosing instead to emphasize the healing power of smiles and shared laughter amidst pain. Her approach to life, refusing to crumble under grief, serves as a mirror to her brother's emphasis on hope and perseverance within the Catholic Church. Maria Elena's survival story is not one of mere endurance, but of quiet triumph, offering a deeply personal illustration of how faith, humor, and love can light the way even through the darkest valleys. The hidden pillar behind Pope Francis's reforms. While Pope Francis has captured the world's attention by steering the Catholic Church toward compassion, inclusivity, and reform, Maria Elena Bergoglio remains the silent force embodying those values long before they became slogans. Her lived example of humility, perseverance, and charity served as a model that likely influenced her brother's approach to leadership and theology. Maria Elena's decision to remain private, to focus on service rather than recognition, and to embrace suffering with dignity, underscores the authenticity behind the reforms Pope Francis has championed. Her story reminds the world that the foundations of public greatness are often laid in the quiet, uncelebrated lives of those who nurture, inspire, and uphold moral integrity within the privacy of home and family. Through her life, Maria Elena has reinforced the message that humility is not weakness but profound strength, a lesson that Pope Francis carried into the heart of the Vatican and broadcast to the world.
A conclave marked by unprecedented uncertainty as the Catholic Church prepares for the 2025 papal conclave following Pope Francis's death, Vatican insiders report an atmosphere of unprecedented uncertainty. With over 80% of the cardinal electors appointed by Francis himself, the landscape is a melting pot of theological diversity and global perspectives. Unlike previous conclaves where clear front-runners emerged early, this election is wide open, fueled by a mixture of hope, anxiety, and spiritual discernment. The diversity of the College of Cardinals reflects Francis's vision of a universal church, yet it also complicates consensus-building efforts. Traditional betting markets and even AI algorithms have struggled to predict the outcome, highlighting how deeply the spirit rather than strategy will likely guide the decision. As observers and faithful alike await the next chapter, it is clear that whoever is chosen will inherit not just an institution, but a turbulent, transformative era that demands not mere governance, but profound spiritual leadership. Top contenders in a high-stakes election, among the names circulating in Vatican corridors and media outlets, several cardinals stand out. Pietro Parolin, the seasoned diplomat from Italy; Luis Antonio Tagle, the compassionate communicator from the Philippines; Matteo Zuppi, the humble peacemaker from Italy; Peter Erdo, the conservative theological powerhouse from Hungary; and Peter Turkson, the bridge-building advocate from Ghana. Each candidate brings unique strengths and faces significant challenges, whether it's administrative expertise, pastoral warmth, or the ability to navigate the Vatican's labyrinthine bureaucracy. What remains clear is that this conclave is not simply about choosing a successor, it's about selecting the soul of the Church's future direction, whether that means a continuation of Francis's reforms, a return to tradition, or a daring new step toward global inclusivity and justice. A moment of spiritual rebirth, not just political transition as cardinals gather and the world awaits the rising white smoke. It's crucial to remember that this conclave represents more than a political event. This conclave represents more than a political event. It is a spiritual rebirth at a pivotal moment in history. Whether the next pope hails from Europe, Asia, or Africa, the decision will resonate far beyond the walls of the Vatican, shaping hearts, communities, and international policies for decades to come. In a fractured world thirsting for empathy, inclusion, and authentic leadership, the Church stands poised either to retrench tradition or to continue its march to leadership or the Church or to continue its march toward the margins. As the faithful pray and the electors discern, the conclave becomes a proof of the electors discern, the conclave becomes a proof of the civil world product, of the civil world, the conclave becomes of the civil world, of the world, no tolerance, of the
Whatever name emerges from the balcony, it will carry the weight of 1 billion souls and the hopes of a world desperate for light in uncertain times.